Praise the Lord. So today I'm here. It's a sudden plan of me to come in front of the camera because I wanted to share something. Like from a long time I have been planning to share this, but I could not get time. So today I thought that I should do this. I'm not so much good at talking in front of the camera, but I'll try. Somehow you have to cope up with that. So coming into my story, there are lots of people who have been questioning me, like they wanted to know, they wanted to inquire why, what made me leave my old faith and old belief and come into Christianity and accept it totally. So let me tell you, it all started when I was young, when I was a child actually. I was very keen and interested in knowing others' culture rather than mine, which is an exception you might say. And then slowly I was more interested, I would say, and I was fascinated about the Western culture. That's where I got introduced to Christianity also. So at the time, having a Christian name and names like David, Matthew and all, it was really fascinating. Like I cannot explain. In India, if you are having names like that, English names, if you are having, then you are cool. Like it's silly, but for the teenagers it's like they feel it's somehow attractive. So it was all a fascination when it started. And secondly, I got introduced to Christians in my school life. There were my friends who were Christians, and let me tell you that they represented their community. As I did not know anything about Christianity, what I knew was them being Christians. So their behavior towards me mattered a lot. That's where I was convinced at first, which I would say they had good behavior and their positive response to everything. It all gave a height to my fascination even more and more. So this is really important. So take it as a message also, like the place which you are coming from, you will be representing that, whatever you are doing, or however or whatever you are dressing, you are eating, or everything you do, you will be representing your community, your background. So be careful in doing that. So the first impression of Christians was really impressive for me, and I was more keen into Christianity now. I wanted to know more. That's where I started going to the church with my friends, and I got introduced to the gospel. It was all new for me, so it became more and more interesting to me, and I wanted to know more. And as I am coming from a different faith, everything was new to me, and accepting these things was a big deal. Let me tell you, I come from an Orthodox Hindu family, and coming out of our comfort zone and accepting something is a big deal for us, because in every household we have been taught to obey our tradition and culture. So really it takes courage to speak out of the box, trust me. So first of all, the first question which came into my mind was, how and why should I listen to them? There must be a reason. But I did not have any answer of that at that moment. Slowly I started reading, I started inquiring people about that, and I came to know that I got introduced to Jesus Christ. And even though it was all casual, it all started with the fascination, but now I was interested. I was interested to know about the gospel. So I studied that, and I got to know about that. I met few people who shared about it to me. Now I had faith that I believed that there is something, there is a creator. Like in India, almost everybody believes there is a creator, and they believe in God. But people are confused what to worship and what not. Like even if I ask a lot of people, they even don't know why they follow their religion. They don't have any cause. Just because they are born into a family which follows a religion, they are just following the tradition. So that's what my question is to you. Do you follow your religion just because you're born in that, or you follow because you believe? Because religion is something which I believe comes from faith, and if I have faith in Christianity, then I am a Christian. So in order to have faith, you need to know. And so I studied and I got to know about the Bible and Jesus Christ. And there was a point, everybody has a point at which they get convinced. So even I had a point where I was convinced. So let me tell you that point. In order to be convinced, I had to do a lot of research, and I had to look into the background of Christianity. Like, to accept that, I needed evidence, you might say. So my friends told me, why do you believe in Jesus Christ? I say, why not? Because according to facts, Jesus Christ was there. We can say everybody might have Google or internet in your house. Go through it, search the evidence. There will be a lot of historical evidences about Jesus Christ and about the crucifixion. A lot of people, they even doubt about the crucifixion. They say crucifixion was not even done. But if you go historically and if you search the historical evidences, it is the most unanimous written testimony. The world's biggest written unanimous testimony. So the facts will all lead you to the truth, and the truth is Jesus was crucified. And these testimonies are not from the first century Christians. They were from the first century Christians along with a lot of Gentiles, and there were a lot of second generation Christians as well, and every testimony were unanimous and it was almost similar. So you will get a lot of evidences about the crucifixion. So the crucifixion was real. If you want, you can search, you can do your research work. The second thing is, people say that Jesus Christ survived the crucifixion. Let me tell you how the crucifixion was done in that time period. People say that even after being crucified, Jesus somehow he escaped. So in order to defend that, I studied and I have some facts which you can also search. Like, the scope of survival of the crucifixion that time, there was none. There was no scope you can survive a crucifixion. First of all, the Romans made it too brutal. The pre-torture, I mean the whipping, or you might say the flogging process which the Romans used to do, it was brutal. People could hardly walk. Even there are instances where people even died in the process of flogging. So let me tell you what is flogging. Flogging is just like pre-death. They whip you with a Roman whip. I would like to show you what a Roman whip used to look like at that time, so that you have an idea of how brutal the torture was. So the Roman whip was called cat o' nine tails. You can search it. So it looked something like this, and at the end there are metal dumbbells which will hit your skin, and it will make you bleed. It will make your blood vessels come out and pour out blood. And there are bones also to scratch your skin out and take out your skin, so that every time it hits you, it tears out your skin, and blood keeps on flowing through it. Just remember, just think how brutal it would have been. I cannot explain. Like, many people these days, how can they question that? And Jewish at that time, they had the law to whip only 40 times, and the Romans, in order to beat the Jewish law, to show that they are not under any law, they did that more than 40. You might search the evidences. You can read a book. I can tell you the references. It's Martin Hengel's book Crucifixion. You can read that. And so whipping was really brutal. People could barely stand after that, and instances are there where people died. But let's say Jesus beared that pain. And moving on to the other step, walking with the heavy cross. Jesus, in that pain, after whipping, he walked with his own cross. Just think how brutal it will be. You are whipped badly, and you don't have skin in your body, and you are bleeding badly, with a crown of thorns in your head, but still you're carrying your own cross. How brutal it will be. It's hard to even think about that. So carrying your cross while walking naked. Actually, in the pictures and movies, we see that Jesus is wearing he was wearing little bit of clothes also, but in the actual instance he was naked completely, and he was whipped on the road also. You can search about that too. So after the flogging part, and while carrying the cross in the road also, he was flogged very badly. He was whipped on the road also, and he fell down many times because the blood flow was too excessive. So after that, there was the process of nailing, in which they pass a nail through your hands, and guess what stays there in the middle of your hand? Yes, it's the middle nerve, the median nerve, which is called the main nerve in biological terms. If you see, it destroys the hand completely. Now you cannot move your hand, now you cannot fight back. So you can guess the chances of fighting back and survival now. So he was nailed in both his hands, and along with his legs also, and he was put on into the cross, and he was struggling to breathe also. And every time you breathe, while you are hanging like this, every time you breathe, every time you breathe out, you need to push yourself up, so that you use your legs. And whenever you are using your legs, you'll be suffering immense pain, because your legs are also nailed. And don't forget, your back is all skinless now. You're all scratched, and every time you breathe, it's too painful, even hard to survive. But you are not even dying at the moment. Just imagine how severe and how painful it might have been. It brings tears in my eyes to even say that. And There are instances, there are evidences about that. You might see to it. And every time he breathed, it was a struggle for him. And finally, after this process, in order to check whether, to make sure that they are dead, their knees were broken. So their knees were badly been hit, and it was broken so that they cannot push themselves in order to breathe, and it stops their breathing, which they did to the others also. But in order to do that with Jesus already left his spirit that time. After that, in order to check that, they pierced a spear into his ribs to check that, and they saw that he already left his spirit. So definitely, according to the evidences, there is no chance of survival from the crucifixion. It was made 100% sure that the person dies. And people say that even after being crucified, he was kept in the tomb, and he might have run away from the tomb. So let me tell you, just after 3 days of this broken body and of bloodless body, which is lacking a lot of blood and energy, he had to push. You're telling me that he woke up with his broken body, and he pushed the stone of his tomb, and he fought with the guards, and he went away. If you're saying that, I think you need to rethink. So there is no way he could survive that. And about the resurrection, it was also more than 10,000, even more and more. I'm just quoting 10,000. Even more than 10,000 evidences are there, like even more than 10,000 witnesses of Gentiles and Jews and everybody, all synonymous. Trust me, if you are keen and interested, just go through the facts. It took me to rebel against my family. It took me. It's a big deal for a guy like me to come out, to come out from my old belief and accept all this. But when I hear about these painful evidences about Jesus Christ, why not? I say, why not? Yes, I am a Christian. Apart from my faith, apart from my relationship with Jesus Christ, I would say the evidences speak a lot. So if you are a person who does not believe in things easily, then go through the facts. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to prove. So this was all about myself, why I accepted these things. So apart from my faith, apart from my relationship with Jesus Christ, these were the facts which I wanted to tell you, which I want the people to know. Even if you're following something, please know about it, and go through the facts about it, and then look into, and then go with the truth. And all the evidences according to my research, yes, it all leaded me to the path of Jesus Christ, and he have saved me when I believed in him. And the moment I believed in him, everything turned upside down. I had a new life, I had a new starting, and I could deal with many things now which I could not even think of leaving at that time. I was into bad influences, which he saved me from. And reading the Bible and following Jesus Christ, it made me a good human being. Now I'm not bad anymore, or my Holy Spirit, my spirit, and my spirit inside me, it does not allow me to do anything bad. If we want to, we can do, but when you love Jesus Christ, you don't want to do anything bad. It's all about free will. If I do also, God will still love me, but I don't want to, because I know He loves me and I love Him back by obeying Him. That's what I want to tell you, to the teenagers and to everybody who is listening. Thank you, and may God bless you and guide you through the words He has spoken through me.